Well, it's almost a new year, and at Bold City Church, that means we start talking about our Beyond offering. Currently we're a mobile church, as you know, and we are thinking about and have been thinking about a place to call home. And so that's what our Beyond offering has been for a few years, where we are preparing and planning for a place to call home, a place for the body at Bold City Church to meet with the presence of God, which is so important to us. And so this year I'm actually preparing for and planning and thinking about my own Beyond offering for myself and my wife differently than I have in years past. Previously, I've thought about it as a first fruits offering, planning for the year to come, but this year I'm looking at it differently. I'm thinking about our Beyond offering as literally preparing a place for the presence of God. And this is biblical. I'm thinking about Exodus 25, where Moses is invited into the presence of God, and for 6 days he sits in silence with the Lord, and then when God does speak, it says, take up an offering. And it's for the express purpose of building a sanctuary. And I started thinking about the offering that he is told to take, gold and silver and precious stones and oils. And I started asking myself, where did that come from? And it hit me that, well, it came from plundering the Egyptians. In other words, what God was asking was a small portion of what he had given and what he had provided. And so I started thinking for myself and my family, what has God provided? What has God done for me and for my family? And I think about the place we live, and it's comfortable and more than sufficient. We have a nice car. We are provided for. And having all of that being provided for me by God, I believe, well then, what am I doing for him? What can I do this year to ensure that we are preparing a place for the body at Bold City to meet in the presence of God? And so I started thinking about it in that way, thinking about King David, who was told it wasn't for him to build a place for the Lord, it would be for his son, but still, understanding that it was important for a place for the people of Israel to meet with the presence of God, he set aside huge sums of money for the temple, set it aside and gave it in preparation for the temple. And of course, Solomon did the same as he began to prepare and to build the temple. And then I think years later, when the temple had fallen into disrepair because of the sins of Israel, Hezekiah comes and he becomes king, and it says in his first year, he opened the doors of the temple and he began to prepare to restore all that had been lost. And we're told in 2 Chronicles that he restores the tithe, he reinstates the tithe, he reinstates the contributions. And it says the people responded and the tithe was brought in abundance, and they handled contributions and free wills, all for the repair of the house of God. And the point is, there's an importance on the place where God meets with his people. We know that God doesn't need a home. The Bible tells us the world is his and all that is in it is his. But we need a place to come and corporately meet together to enjoy the presence of God together and to worship him as a body of believers. And that's what the Beyond offering is for. And so this year, as I think about it and we pray about it, my wife and I, about what we're going to give this year, I'm thinking about what God has done for me and how I can give from that to do something in return for him, to do something for out of the abundance he has provided for me. And so that is our mindset this year for Jamie and I, that we will bring what God has provided for us, to do something for him, to build a place where Bold City Church can call home, and where we can come and congregate together, join together in community with the presence of God. We say it all the time here lately, that Jesus is the honored guest. Well, I want him to feel at home. I want him to have a place that we have invested in, that we have put our blood, sweat, tears, and our money in, for him to come and be the guest and meet with us. And that's what Beyond offering means to me this year.